I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hi, everyone. So we have public comment. So we're going to receive oral communications from members of the public. Members of the public may address the Select Board for up to 3 minutes. The Select Board shall not engage in discussion on the topics raised during the public comment, but may choose to add the topic to a future agenda. This agenda segment is going to be limited to 15 minutes. Do we have any public comment? Come on up.
Hi, Christopher Smith on 16th Street. I've got 3 minutes, so I'll be quick. I have some questions regarding, first of all, the business permit. I'm assuming that the town has all records from the past 5 years regarding, as you all know, you take a business permit, you have to file taxes, also proof of commercial insurance for the past 3 to 5 years. I'm sure the board has reviewed all that, and you have all that information available to you to show that this is an active business and has been an active business. Again, tax records and proof of commercial insurance for the past 2 to 3 years to prove that this business is truly in effect. Other questions I have is, this is a grandfathered permit. There are questions regarding transference of a grandfathered permit to a trust. There were questions, I know that there was legal counsel that said there are still questions open to that. What are the town regulations and zoning bylaws regarding that conversion of a grandfathered permit into a trust? Now this is going from a trust to another private entity. What are the rules? What does the zoning board say? What does rules and regulations say? What is the precedent for that here in the state as well as here in the town of Newbury? I don't think that has not been discussed or looked at whatsoever. So again, the precedent of moving a private, again, a grandfathered permit into a private trust, which now moves to another private entity completely. So we have questions regarding that, I think, that need to be reviewed in terms of liability. Again, zoning bylaws, a grandfathered permit. I know I'm running out of time. Commercial insurance. How many cars are allowed via commercial insurance? Are you going to make sure that this person has commercial insurance? We know for, again, how many cars does that allow? What about egresses? There's egresses currently on Northern Boulevard as well as 16th Street. Most commercial insurances want one egress. How are you going to manage this? The owner's not living on site, nor will be living on site. What we know is it's a 2-bedroom home that is now advertised for rent. 3 bedrooms on the first floor, 2 bedrooms on this, 3 on the second floor. It's now a 5-bedroom home. So now you're dealing with an owner who's not going to be there, not going to keep track of what cars are there. I know that their Boston Fire Department, typically in the city of Boston, will do a survey to tell you how many cars are allowed to park. So he's going to park more cars. We deal with 50, 60 cars every Saturday and Sunday racing up and down the streets. We've got little kids on the streets. It's a safety concern. It's a hygiene concern. You're bringing 200 people to the beach. There's no facilities there. There's no restrooms there. Where are they going to go to the bathroom? You bring in garbage to the beach. We go to the beach every weekend. We're cleaning up garbage after other people. It's a common event. Now you're bringing 50 more cars in every single weekend. They handled the overflow into Wendy's property next door. Again, it's never been followed by the town, and enough is enough. This permit is grandfathered in. We've been told for years that this grandfathered permit is not going to be transferred. It's not transferable. We've been told this for 15 years. I own a spare lot on the island. I would come to the town every 2 or 3 years and ask for my permit to park. And I was told every year that you don't have a grandfathered permit, and I would bring up her permit, and every year for 15 years, I've been told, oh, well, that's not when that estate gets transferred, it no longer is transferable.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question, Madam Chair?
When we get to that agenda item.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Come on.
You got 3 minutes. You got 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Alan Romano, 16th Street also.
Yeah.
I've lived on the street for 35 years. That parking lot has been a nightmare to everybody on the street for years and years. They not only park in the front on Northern Boulevard, they park down both sides of 16th Street. They use the house across the street for their overflow lot. There are people changing into their bathing suits out in public. People's trash, people are blocking the street. You try to go home. That section of street Sandy Way, 16T, and 16th Street all have to access by that parking lot. That every weekend, that road is blocked because there are 3 cars in the queue to try to get in that parking lot. If you people are going to allow it to happen, you at least need to come up with some regulations of block 16th Street exit, so it doesn't affect the people that live there, not the absentee owner. Also, there's, you got to have some kind of lot density done to see by the state how many cars are allowed on that size lot. Also, the American with Disabilities Act says you need at least 1 handicap spot that's designated with a ramp next to it for a van that can't be used for anything else. Plus, there's also 2 apartments now there. They should each have 2 parking spots designated to them each that are not part of the parking lot. So
Thank you.
that's what I got to say.
All right, thank you. Is there any other public, oh, careful. Any other public comment? Going once? Okay, thank you. On to the board and committee reports. I signed the PR 2323 for the select board, the PR 2323 for Julie, and the PR 2324 for Julie O'Brien. Under grants, gifts, and donations, we have a Council on Aging donation, Friends of the Council on Aging, give a donation of $18,000. Can I have a motion to accept?
Motion to accept.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Bill, do you want to explain a little bit about this?
Yes. Cindy submits to the Friends of the Newbury Council on Aging a schedule of the events that you'd like to host during the year so that they can move over, transfer some money to her in a lump sum rather than have us go back, rather than have them go back every month or every 2 months for more money. There's a long delay in that process. This is a lot more robust. I think the town administrator guided Cindy in terms of this approach for the financing, and it's working very well, and it's a great donation. And Cindy will thank them for it. She thanks everyone, all donors.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have a Council on Aging donation of $10 from Albert Goldthorpe.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Dennis and Alani Casey, again, for Council on Aging donation for $20.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And a Council on Aging donation from Nancy Story for $50.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, under new business, we have public property use for an ALS ride. And is Kevin Sweeney from the ALS ride, is he here tonight? Come on up, Kevin.
Hello. So we are asking for permission to ride through the town of Newbury for our Tri-State Trek. It's our 21st year. We originally were riding from Boston College to Greenwich, Connecticut for the past 20 years, and we have changed to start and end now at UNH. Over the past 20 years, we've raised $10.5 million.
Congratulations.
Thank you. For ALS drug development and research. And we just want your approval to ride through the 2 miles through Newbury.
Okay.
How many miles?
Overall, it's going to be a 200-mile ride over 2 days.
So the, I'm gonna ask a question.
Yeah.
All right, so let me just, hold on, let me entertain. Do we have a motion in a second?
We
So
don't.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the public property use for the
Motion to
ALS ride.
Motion to accept.
In a second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion. How will you be marking the roads?
So we have arrows, so we're actually going to be having people go out this weekend, and it's going to be marked every 4th mile for riders.
Okay,
And it has our information on it, so if anyone does have questions or they were upset that a pole got marked, they can call us and we can talk them through
okay.
how everything's going to be.
And you won't be putting anything on the roads, right?
No.
Spray paint? No, nothing
Nope.
like that. Okay.
Alicia, so there's a sign in the ground or a sign on a, what is it?
It's going to be a paper arrow.
How is it mounted in the ground?
It won't be mounted on the ground. It would be on like a telephone pole, or if there's like a stop sign, it would just be zip tied. And we have a group of individuals that ride after our riders, and they come and take everything down. Any leftover trash they pick up after them.
Okay. Is this your first time riding through Newbury?
Mhm.
Okay.
Patty, do we have any problem with stop signs and telephone poles?
No, Deputy Chief Wojciechowski met with them as well to set up the plan before I signed off on the public use. So it's my understanding that it'll be about 150 riders
Yes,
that'll
ma'am.
be intermittently coming through from South Street to Main Street, starting around 10 a.m. till about noon.
Yep.
We'll have 2 detail officers there, and they will have a guide, a monitor on a bike at the beginning of the kind of heaviest part of it, kind of guiding them through. We'll also have our West Sector Patrol in that area to slow down traffic between where the detail officers are as well. So in West Newbury, we'll be taking care of South Street.
Perfect,
Okay, thank you.
thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Do I have any questions from the board?
ALS is a huge issue,
Yeah,
and I thank you for doing this.
yeah.
Bill, any questions?
No, sounds good.
Leslie?
Certainly worthy cause.
Thank you.
I'll wave to you as we go by.
All right, we'll be there waving back.
I'm good.
Okay, all right, so, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
We appreciate it.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck with your ride.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, now we have a business license renewal for Brandon Kelly, DBA Store Yourself Storage, 12 Kent Way, general business self-storage. Can I have a motion?
Motion to accept.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on this one?
Is this a renewal?
Yes.
Yeah.
All in
And,
favor?
I'm sorry, this has nothing to do with the lease of this building.
Correct.
It's just
This is a self,
store, use, self-storage.
correct. General business self-storage. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we have another, this is a new business license. That was a renewal. Now we have a new business license for Thomas Ryan, DBA Plum Island Beach Walk LLC, formerly Wheelhouse Parking, 49 Northern Boulevard, for a parking lot and a water cooler. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to accept.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion. So this is the reason why these residents were here, speaking to this. The matter before the board tonight is specific to a license to operate a parking lot and have sell a cooler of water. The previous owner, the backstory and all of this stuff, and I'll ask you guys to correct me any misinformation that I have, or if I don't say it correctly. The previous owner passed away. There was a business license granted to the previous owner to run a parking lot and sell some water. That's before us tonight. She passed away. Her heirs had inherited the property. I'm not sure what year she passed away, but as of last year of 2023, I confirmed with the town of Newbury that no business license was granted at this location. So that's why it is a new business license before us tonight. It is not a transfer of an older license. This is completely new. Do you have any questions on that piece of it? Okay. So, in hearing from the residents, as you heard, there's been issues with this parking lot in the past. So, I did some research on this today. I spoke to the building inspector. I spoke to town council to see what our purview is, what we have control over, and what we as a select board can do regarding this property. The issues that were brought up tonight by Mr. Smith and his residents are legitimate to them, They've been living with this for a while. But unfortunately, it's not our purview as the select board that we can do anything with this. These are land use issues and zoning issues. So what we have, the issue before us tonight is, and I have general laws before us, Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 9710, that this piece of property falls under what's called a non-conforming use. So the law for the continuance of a non-performing use, the lawful use of any structure or land by existing, I'm sorry, let me start over. The lawful use of any structure or land existing at the time of enactment or subsequent amendment of this bylaw may be continued, although the structure or use does not conform to the provisions of this bylaw. But if any such non-conforming use or structure is abandoned and not used for a period of 2 years, it shall not therefore be resumed. So, because this property has not been used this way for 2 years, by statute, we're required to continue it. If it was 2 years that they didn't get a license, a business license, like it's only 2023 they didn't get one, so if it was 2022 and 2023, then it would be the discretion of the board to either approve or disapprove this parking lot. But because it is within the 2 years, it is less than two years, by statute, it says that we kind of have to approve it. Not kind of, we do. If there's issues with parking, blocking the traffic, too many cars, all that stuff, it has to go through the police department, or no, I'll hear you guys out. I will hear you out. So, and then, when we vote on this, when we vote on it tonight, you can, I guess, appeal it to the zoning board of, not the zoning board of appeal, but to the zoning enforcement officer, which is the building inspector, who will then take it to the zoning board of appeals. But according to town council, as of today, we have no authority to not allow this from happening, unfortunately. Now, I'll take it. Do you want to come up here? And Dana,
Are you sure that that is actually for a new permit and not, if my family owned the lot and then I didn't get a license for a year, I could come back to you within a year because I owned the property and I could say, I messed up last year, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
And you'd have to give it to me because I only was out a year. This is a new permit, you said. This is a new permit for new family, for new people. This has nothing to do with prior.
No, but it's about the use. It's about the use. So the use.
I think you're looking at it the wrong way, but again.
But listen, if that's the case, so when I gave it to town council today, town council looked up on Essex County deeds to see if there was a deed restriction on this, because there has been other properties in the town of Newbury that have had, that special permits, for instance, have gone, when the owner dies, the special permit dies with it. And they looked to see if anything was posted on the Registry of Deeds in Essex County for this property. And there was nothing on there that restricts the use of it.
And the other thing you said about calling the police.
Yes.
We call the police, they come and they look and they go, we can't help you, we don't know anything about it. There's nobody working at the town halls Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can't call the building permit, the building inspector, because he says, I don't work.
So I have the police chief here. I'm gonna ask her
I'd be more
to,
than happy to make sure everyone knows that that is a parking
And
lot.
you need to be told that, because if I flag down the officer at the beach, and I said, can you go down there and do something? He looks and he says, until I see the guy taking money in his hand and they're blocking the street, I can't do anything.
Well, if they're blocking the street, we can certainly do that.
But again, it's.
But if we don't know the number of cars that are allowed to be on the lot, that would be
there is
the
no.
issue. But any parking on the street, we would be able to address or blocking the street.
Okay, but that's why the town needs to address the density, how many cars can park there. The Americans with Disability Act says there has to be at least one handicap spot. Who do we go to with this? Do we go to zoning now? I'm asking, I don't know.
I think so, but we're
I don't know.
we're
I
gonna
mean,
find
are we
out.
trying to, this property is not owner occupied. He goes somewhere else to sleep quiet at night, where we, the occupants of the neighborhood, have to deal with it. That's what's frustrating. It's our problem, not his problem.
Okay, thank you.
Anyway,
Alicia,
All right, thank you.
can I
One
ask a
second.
question?
Well, Dana had a question.
Okay,
too.
go ahead, Dane.
Yeah, my question earlier was, is this what we're talking about?
Yes.
And that, I figured that out as this
Same
went
question,
along.
yeah, same
So that actually was my first question.
Okay, do you have?
And I'm
another
gonna let Jeff go next, because he is next, but I do have one more.
Are you reading Mass law, general law?
Yeah.
Or is that town council's interpretation?
This is
Did I hear a may in there at all, or is it shall? What did it, can you read that one more time?
it says that lawful use of any structure or land existing at the time of enactment or subsequent amendment of this bylaw may be continued, although such structure or use does not conform to the provisions of this bylaw. But if any such non-conforming use or structure is abandoned and not used for a period of 2 years, it shall not thereafter be resumed. So if it was not used for 2 years, how long do you think he hasn't been using it? Has he been using it every year?
So my question to the board would be, as a LLC, as a business in the town of Newbury, they're supposed to report every year their income and proof of commercial insurance. As any, if you look up Massachusetts state law, any LLC is by law, Bobby, back me up on the business end, by law, you're supposed to report back to the town, again, your taxes, how much you made, and everything else. My understanding is, this has not been run as a official business, so my question to the town is, before you move forward with this, make sure that this business has truly been a business. Have they done the required due diligence on their end to report back to the town in terms of their taxes, in terms of proof of commercial insurance? To run any business in this town, you have to have those two things. And I would challenge the board to look back in their records and see, has this been done for the previous 2 to 3 years? Before you make a ruling, I would ask that A, you do that, and B, before you make a ruling, I would also ask, have a discussion about how many cars are we talking about? Are we talking about 8 cars? Are we talking about 200 cars? I think the concern becomes, we'll walk by that property and there'll be 60 cars jammed into between the two neighbors. That is dangerous. That is dangerous.
So, okay.
And if the town, again, look back in your rules and regulations about how to transfer this permit, this grandfather, again, look back to your own rules and regulations here in the town, how do you establish that process? And if you do not have a system or a management to handle that process, I think before you make a ruling, you need to sit down and say, how do we do this? Because what's gonna end up happening is somebody's gonna get hurt. And they're not gonna go after the homeowner. They're gonna go back to the town and say, I'm gonna go after the town because they allowed this to happen. They allowed this permit to occur without knowing how many cars, without ADA, without all of these other questions. They're gonna allow this to happen. So I would encourage the board to do your due diligence before you make a thumbs up or a thumbs down in terms of making this decision.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Tracy, do we get that information back? Do you know? Are you aware of
You'd have
that?
to ask the town clerk's office. We don't, it doesn't come to the select board's office.
No. Okay. All right, are there any other questions, Dana?
Just for the chair, we are voting on this. If it's something that we have to do, which actually happened in the last select board meeting, why are we even voting on it if it's something that we have to approve? I don't follow that.
That's a good question.
That logic. I don't follow that logic at all. I mean, it's a license,
Well,
it's a license renewal, and,
Well, what the matter,
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, thank you. It's a new license.
that's the matter before us. The matter before us is whether or not, that this Thomas Ryan, that wants to do business as the Plum Island Beach, Walk LLC, the matter before the board tonight is whether or not, or not whether or not, but to issue a new business license for a parking lot and a cooler full of water. That's it.
I have a question.
Proposal.
Do we know, was there a license issued in 2021 for someone,
Yeah, there was.
and it was for Jerry Dorr?
Can I see that paperwork you have? Thank you.
It was 2023 that
Yeah,
they
so,
didn't apply.
so in 2022, there was one. Was there one in 2020?
Well, the town clerk has all those records.
Yeah, so this, there was one in 2022.
And that was as wheelhouse parking under Jerry Dorr, or?
Yeah. The trust,
Okay.
the trust.
The trust.
Geraldine Dort Trust. This is a conundrum. Jeff, do you have any?
So there should be business records, to his point, for 2022 if she operated as a business, and that can be researched
By the town clerk,
by the
yeah.
town clerk.
Is what we have to ask the town clerk.
And Thomas Ryan has never, this is new, Thomas Ryan has never run this business as a business. So you're not gonna find any financial reports
Right,
for Thomas Ryan, correct?
we haven't asked, I don't know.
I mean, it sounds like this has to be tabled until we can do some research on town clerk with business records.
I agree.
Yeah, because where I get in trouble, this is 97-10 general regulations, and I get in trouble with, it shall not be therefore be resumed, non-conforming uses may be changed, extended, or altered, provided however that no such change, extension, or alteration may be permitted unless there is a finding by the zoning board of appeals. And it sounds like this isn't anywhere near the use that was grandfathered, so that would be a change.
Well, it was grandfathered for, previously, there was a parking lot, a popcorn machine, and a
But
slush
doesn't-
machine and water.
But it sounds like there's 60 cars
So
there
it was,
now.
it was actually a real estate office, and that's when they pulled the original things about 25, 30 years ago. It was a real estate office.
Nikki Valane.
Huh. Wow.
So I don't think it was ever intended as a 40 or 50 car parking lot. I think it was intended for a real estate office, and that was the intent of the property.
Is there really
It was a
40
real
to
estate
50
office.
cars there?
You saw how tight they
You
packed
can't,
it.
Patty?
They put them-
it's dangerous.
Now there's parking on 16th Street that was never there before.
Right.
They opened that up and they park cars there.
I actually, Patty just shook her head, so, yeah, it's well validated, so.
Sir, did you want to come up?
Yeah, my name is Robert Dover, 21 16th Street. I have grandchildren that ride their bikes up and down there, supervised, they're little. Come Saturday, they can't go near it, you know. 16th Street is not the address of this place.
49.
Their address is Northern Boulevard. 16th Street becomes a parking lot at the end, both houses on each side of the road. The woman on the right takes the overage, and they fill the lot tight with cars on the left. So there's people holding signs, parking here, there's signage in the parking lot, you know, how much it cost. And now they have brand-new signs that are aside right now. And they have a trust, you know, put your money in there and park, you know, a bucket. So it's, every Saturday, the excitement gets worse. Oh, we have to deal with this again. The beach is crowded. Everyone, welcome to the beach, I don't care. But there's no trash receptacles. There's no bathrooms, as they are down the street. There's no AED. There's no, you know, control of what's going on. But these people walk back and forth and holding up signs, stopping me. Are you parking, sir? I go, no, I live here. People down the street pull into my driveway, and Gene came to your house and asked if you can park there. And they bang on your door. Can we park here? We'll pay anything you want. Well, you know, we don't want their money. Then, when the lot gets full, they roam around the streets, 20th Street, 16th Street, and they get stuck because you can't make the turns. They're very difficult. In Chris's driveway, they make three-point turns all day long. So it's very disturbing, you know. Everyone gets uptight about it. It's Saturday. You know, we don't go to the beach on Saturdays and Sundays. We stay away. My kids come up. I have a crowd. I got a good, big family. And we just hang around the house. We seldom go to the beach, you know, so that's all I have to say about that.
Thank you. Patty, did you have any comment about the parking that you can enlighten the board on?
So as far as parking complaints to that address, we've only had a handful in the last few years, but to the address. But I do agree with the residents when they say that subsequent area is always a traffic concern for us. And as I stated before, if we don't know how many cars are allowed in the lot, we won't address the overcrowding within that lot that goes on. The other public parking, or private parking, I should say, on Plum Island, you have spots that help guide us as to what to do when we get called for complaints. We don't have that there.
Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to add for us?
I believe, and this is just a belief, but I believe it was in October of '21 when she passed. Does that sound about? I think it was October of '21, if that information helps you at all.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, so
Alicia.
come on up.
I think there are three things, very simply. The applicant isn't here, right? That's number one, so can't answer any questions. It's a new permit for maybe a continuance of the same kind of business, but it's a new permit. There's no report from the enforcement officer, as far as we've heard tonight. So there's been no inspection of the premises or the lot or anything like that. And apparently there's no information about ADA requirements being satisfied or not. And so on those three grounds, you can simply defer this.
Thank you. So, I have a motion from the board?
You had it first and a second.
Well, we did
Originally.
have a motion to accept in second, so we could discuss it.
So now we've discussed it.
Yeah.
Is there another motion?
A motion to table it?
And I will
That one?
second that.
Okay, so we have a motion to table and a second. Dana?
I think that until all of these issues are addressed, there's been more than one business's license that we have, asked for, parking plans and safety precautions and all of those things which we don't have in front of us. I agree that it should be tabled
I agree.
until these things are addressed.
Yeah, there's just too many question marks on this one.
Yeah, and I would like to just kind of know what the was there a description with the original grandfathering?
Well, when I talked to the
Building inspector?
the building inspector, he said that it's not in our, I guess, scope of authority for this, we're just doing the business license, but I tend to agree, there are questions about, I mean, I don't know if we can put parameters around this, I don't know if we can, I don't know. There's too many questions, so, come on up.
Hi, folks. Tracy Smith here from 16th Street. My question is, if it's tabled tonight, what happens tomorrow morning when we wake up? Are there signs coming down that say, parking? Or are we setting ourselves up for this coming weekend, if the weather's nice, that they're going to continue to park the cars and we're going to be facing this until, you know,
Well, we're gonna table it to our next meeting,
Mm-hmm.
which is the end of June. But I don't believe they have a business license currently, 2023. Do they, Julie?
but they have signs up that say
No,
beach
well,
parking.
this is
and
new,
stuff.
so no, they're applying for a new
Yeah,
one.
so they're currently operating without a business license.
Okay, so that's what my question is. Is someone going to do something about that until they get a license? I mean, there's signage up right now that says beach parking, and they've got a chalkboard up. That they'll write a little message and stuff, and there could be someone out there again, you know, flagging people down this weekend, you know, parking. You know, how do you police that? I mean, if it's not legal, they don't have the permit yet, how are they able to, you know, generate monies and park the cars over there? And then who's gonna, you know, what, you know, God forbid something happens, that someone gets hit. I mean, I've almost been clipped a couple of times. I bring my paddleboard out, and, you know, I've had a couple of close calls with a car swinging around, and, you know, I've been able to get out of the way. And I can just imagine if that's a little kid, that the car can't see you because there's so many cars and so many signs there that when you come out at 16th Street, it's you know, it's blinding.
All right, so, thank you. I think what we'll do is, I think we'll vote to table this, and then I think at our next meeting, we'll ask the
Applicant to be present.
the applicant to be present, and I'll get some more information. I'll ask the building inspector, I guess, to be here in town council, because
Yep.
I don't know, I mean, see, my
But the-
concern
but the-
is,
Excuse me, madam.
Yep.
But the point that she made was, he doesn't have a license, what's to prevent him from collecting money this weekend?
Patty?
And I only have the authority, I don't have the authority to tow vehicles off of private property. So this isn't a place where police can intervene to kind of shut them down. We can certainly document whether or not they are and report back to you, but we don't have the authority to get rid of the vehicles that are there, so.
Okay, so you can only tow if they're on public property.
I can only tow off of public property,
Public
I can't
property.
tow off of private property.
Okay.
What about the signage?
Tracy, what's the protocol for that? When somebody runs a business license when somebody runs a business without a license, we
We need to be notified of it, and as Patty said, they can evaluate to see if this is happening, and then we'd have to take it up with council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send notification, cease and desist.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
That was gonna be like, my question is like, you know, who has the authority to do a cease and desist?
We don't know.
Well, maybe our town council can write them, tell them what, you know, explain what happened tonight, and give them a legal cease and desist until we can get this solved, because, I don't know. I'm not
They
a
don't,
lawyer.
they currently do not have a business license, so they shouldn't be operating there. That's number one. Okay, so number two, I think we'll have the building inspector, because he's the zoning
The
enforcement.
enforcement agent
For
for
the town.
property use would be the building inspector, unless I'm wrong,
No,
Tracy.
you're correct.
So
So I
we'll
think-
have to have him go down and enforce this. And we'll have to deal with town council. We're just gonna table this. So we have a motion on here to table this till the June 25th, 27th meeting. Thank you. All in favor?
Let's think a little bit, though. We have this person's address, we should write him a note saying you've been tabled.
That's-
You
that's
do
not
not
his-
have a business
Jeff, that's not his
license.
address, though.
Huh?
He doesn't live there, that's not his address. These people said he doesn't live there.
We have his property address on the
Oh, you do?
field cards in the assessor's office.
So, we should let him know that, and then we should contact town council and also the building inspectors. I don't mind making that as a motion, or do we need it as a motion, Tracy?
I don't think we needed that for a motion. I think we can just direct you to do that.
Got a couple motions on the table. You didn't dispose of your main motion yet.
Okay, so,
Motion to withdraw the acceptance. Second.
Second.
Now, has someone got a new motion?
So, hold on.
Madam
Okay,
Chair?
so, yes,
You've received a complaint.
Yep.
You've acknowledged it, the board's acknowledged it. The police department can investigate it based on the findings. We refer it to town council. They would send the appropriate correspondence notifying the owner to cease and desist if that's the outcome of the investigation. And then in the meantime, we can gather the additional information. The town clerk has confirmed that they do receive proof of insurance at the application time. And any of the other questions that we didn't have an answer to this evening, we can gather those for your next meeting. If that makes sense.
And that's why you're town administrator.
that's right, we have a town administrator. Okay, so, now we have two motions on the table. So we have one, a motion to accept, and then we have a table. So, we, like,
Do you want to do a motion to withdraw the original?
Yes, which I did,
Motion.
and was second.
okay,
Who's
all in
second?
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so now we have the second motion, which is to table this.
Leslie seconded it.
Yep.
So now we have the second motion, which is to table this to our June 27th meeting. Pending, we can get town council here. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so there should be no business there. You heard how it's gonna roll out with her. I wanna thank you all for coming tonight. And that's it. Okay. Next item on the agenda. Thank you. This,
Sunset Club.
Yep.
okay. Next, we have an entertainment license approval for Sunset Club at 4 Old Point Road for music and small speakers, Monday through, I believe it's Saturday?
I think it's 7 days.
Sunday.
Is it Monday through Sunday? Okay, yeah, Monday through Sunday, right here, sorry about that. Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion. Okay, this is another one that we received some correspondence from Kevin Hunt, who resides at 14 10th Street on Newbury, Mass. I think you've all have it, have you all had an opportunity to read his letter?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so, the entertainment license before us from the is anybody here from the Sunset Club? Okay. The information here before us is they just want to continue with small speakers, low volume amplification. The hours of the events is not to exceed 8 p.m. So the complaint that we have received here, does anybody have any questions about the complaint that you've all read?
I do. I remember the original license and what we talked about.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how that discussion went, but I do remember that we sort of approved it pending how the outcome was gonna look. You know, in other words, we were gonna give them 12 months or so to operate the business. And, you know, when we were talking about the outdoor speakers and the entertainment portion of the club, I'm pretty sure back then we had discussed, let's, you know, give it a whirl, see how it works out, see if it's indeed not gonna impede on people's personal privacy, those kinds of things. And I'm not sure where to go with that,
Well,
but,
that's my recollection as well.
okay,
that
good, thank
we-
you.
That we had this, do you remember that as well, Jeff? You were on the board then, too. I just remember this, there was a lot of concern from the neighbors because it was open air, and there was a lot of concern about sound traveling, especially at night. And apparently, there is an issue. So, this letter is very good because he makes some recommendations that he would like the group to make, so I think, once again, I think we might need to ask the applicant before us to see if they have any comment about this. How does the board feel about that?
I agree with that. I mean, I think in the letter, he's saying, Kevin said he measured at 74 decibels, and they're talking about low-volume amplification. I don't know if 74 decibels is low-level amplification.
I don't
But
either.
if they were here to answer the question, it would be extremely helpful, I think.
Are you a resident, are you?
I'm Kevin's neighbor.
Oh, come on up here. Say who you are.
I'm Jerry Shapiro, and I own 1618 10th Street. 17 years homeowner down there. And I can tell you that Kevin approached me with his letter, and because he couldn't be here tonight, I decided I would be here tonight.
Thank you.
So, Memorial Weekend, there was a reggae music coming from the surf club. I was on my back deck. I'm around 400 yards away. I had two people with me, and we had to elevate our voices so we could hear each other. That is a big open space, as you know. It doesn't matter if they have small speakers or large speakers. With today's technology, you can get as much out of a small speaker as you can as a large speaker. So the noise the music was extremely loud. I'm certain that other people who may not have spoken or written to you experienced the same discomfort that I did and Kevin did, but we can't even enjoy our homes and our neighborhood because we had to talk over the loud music. The music is good. We like the music. However, it's way too loud. And Kevin's suggestions, like maybe turning the band around so that the noise goes towards maybe the marsh, is a good idea if that's possible, or other ideas. However, I'm here to voice my concern and complaint as well, that it is way too loud. Another question I have, is this supposed to be music every night of the week?
Well, that's what they're asking for.
Is
They're
it-
asking
if
not
the-
to exceed 8 PM. Was it later than 8 PM?
I don't recall,
Okay.
actually. It was into the evening, I just didn't look at my watch and see what
But
time it
Monday
stopped.
through Sunday, so that is every night of the
So
week.
I would say that having music 7 nights a week and having the neighborhood, listen to that 7 nights a week is totally unnecessary and is much too much to ask of the neighborhood.
So I have a question. Do you hear the piped-in music that comes from, you know how when you go in a restaurant, you hear music playing in the background? Is this because they use amplification, it says. Describe
Well, I don't
any.
know about amplification, but the decibel level is an exceedingly high decibel level. It was so loud in where I live. As I told you, we had to elevate our voices to have a conversation.
So is it coming from a band, or is it coming from just the regular music that's played there, like piped
Well,
over
I was
this?
not down there. I mean, I'm sure it's a combination. It's most probably the equipment. I don't think anyone could sing that loudly. So it must be the equipment. So that has to be, if you're going to approve this, then the equipment has to be set so that, it is at a much lower volume so that, it does not disturb the neighborhood. I mean, we love living down there. We don't want to have to compete every single night of the week in the summertime with noise that's going to disrupt our lives, and we shouldn't have to, for the benefit of the surf club.
And Kevin does state that it was a reggae rap band, but if the applicant were here, we could ask, do they use their equipment for amplification, or do they use the restaurant?
I don't know that,
You know,
but
they could answer that question, but.
I can tell you,
can't.
even without music down there, we hear people talking all the time. Because it's such an open area down there, the music, that whatever it is, whether it's people talking or music, it just travels,
Depends the way the wind's blowing too, I bet.
probably.
Yeah.
So if it can be moved towards a different direction rather than into the neighborhoods, I'm sure everyone else hears it. 12th Street, Sandy Way, 14th Street, Old Point Road, Sunset Drive. I'm sure all those people hear it as well. So
Okay.
I think it's something that should be thought about long and hard because it's going to disturb the quality of life for a lot of people down there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have a motion on the table. Who made that motion?
Jeff and Dana.
Me?
Jeff? You want to make another motion?
I think we should discuss it while we have this motion.
Okay.
I would like to see once again the original business license because, you know, I think if there is that type of complaint that really exists on the island, certainly I am not positive these people are aware of it, and it's something we have to make them aware of it. What can they do to mitigate the noise? Can you have those whirling things that kind of, they have on, like a pole that diffuse sound that they have in outdoor concerts and things like this? I mean, so they're gonna have to make some, if noise is traveling that extensively and it's that loud, then they're gonna have to probably, I'm sure that business permit probably wasn't carte blanche.
No, I recall it
Like
not being.
Dana said the same, I think, so.
Come on up.
Yeah. So a suggestion would be, is it necessary to have them having music 7 nights a week?
That's a good point.
Isn't that like
Good point.
over the top
Well,
for any
yeah.
neighborhood? How about 3 nights a week maybe, or a lesser number than that? If the neighborhood is gonna have to put up with amplification, do we have to do it 7 nights a week and ruin our quality of life down there?
Well, that's a question that
So
will.
that is the other question. Fewer nights per week would probably be preferable, and I'm sure they would do very well with fewer nights a week.
Thank you.
And lowering the sound. Yeah,
Well,
mitigating the
absolutely.
sound.
Yeah. Thank you. Did you want to come up? You going to speak to this?
I did, and I'm only doing it. I've known Bo.
Who's Bo?
one
Well,
of
first
the-
of all, state your name and your
Patrick
address.
Shea, 44 Fatherland.
Okay.
I'm actually here on a completely different matter. I was just trying to bring a little bit of insight. I'm not here to defend anybody. I own a couple restaurants. Essex, I can no longer play music outside because of a select few that live across the marsh. All I was trying to do was play jazz music at 11 a.m. to 1 on Sundays, and they shut us all down. And now no one can play music outside in Essex. There's things for like 30, 40 years. The Art in the Barn can't even play acoustic music unamplified anymore because of some. Does not sound anything like this, and everything you're saying sounds very reasonable. I just wanted to bring some light as to why, as a restaurant owner, you would ask for a license 7 nights a week. It's because when we host events or we have a wedding, sometimes we have people that want to do weddings on like a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night because it's a lot cheaper, or they can't book a place to do it on the weekend. So I've done the same thing for both my locations, CK Pearl in Essex and Declan's in Gloucester. Gloucester's a lot more, easygoing as far as music. They had a lot of problems, I know, in Rocky Neck back in the day with Madfish, and they had a decibel meter, and if it exceeded it, they got a notice for it. So again, I'm not here to defend anything. I just wanted to bring a little insight as to why a restaurant owner would ask for it 7 nights a week. I don't ever want to play music Monday through Thursday. I also don't want to cough up the money for a band for $500 Monday through Thursday, unless it's a $20,000 wedding and they want to have something. Then you can come and just get a one-time permit, but you do have to go file the permit, go sit before the board,
Yep.
explain all of it. So I just wanted to bring a little insight on why a restaurateur would ask for it 7 nights a week. But again, I'm not defending it. I just wanted to bring a little insight to it.
Thank you. Okay, so Jeff, did you want to meander down anymore?
And again,
You want to have any more discussion?
does anyone else, I'm done.
Dana?
I certainly don't want to shut down a Sunset Club. I know Bo also myself, and I have a totally non-biased opinion here, so. However, we did discuss the music and the entertainment, when it was issued previous to that, and I'm wondering, could we vote on the license, but require that the entertainment, show, amusement be readdressed maybe on the 27th.
Well, we can't vote on this, except, all we can move on is what's before us. And I know I personally have questions about what's before us,
Okay.
so.
Alicia, we might be able to vote on this business license, however, in condition.
We can, but I'm hesitant to do that without speaking to the owner as well.
I agree with
We
that.
may have to condition, we may decide to condition, I'd have to, that's the wrong word. We may decide to condition it as a board, but I'm not comfortable making those decisions without speaking to the property owner.
If I could suggest a process change that, we've had a lot of discussion about this. In an ideal situation, if those people were here, you'd get direct answers from those people.
Right.
Can you turn your speakers 180 degrees? Do you know what decibel level you're advertising at? You have to do it every day of the week. I think it should be a best practice that if you're gonna renew a license or come with a new license that involves things like this, you have to be here to answer questions,
I agree.
rather than postpone it from one meeting to another.
I agree with that. It's not for us to guess.
No, correct.
So to get the questions answered is the only way that
Okay,
can be done.
so, moving forward, Julie, I know we still have a table and a motion on the table, but, moving forward, when we have renewals like this, I guess, could you ask or new ones, have the owners request that they come in case the board
Yeah.
has any
Protocols
questions?
normally, when it's a new one, we
I mean, some of
always
the-
request. The renewals, it's not always the
Yeah,
case,
this
but
one
the
is
new
a little-
ones. Yeah,
Some of them may
but-
be naive, that you wouldn't have to have the person here, but I mean, something like this, definitely need the person here.
Okay, so, we have a motion on the table to approve this. What do we want to do?
My question might be, and Tracy, you probably might be able to direct us, but you probably can't answer because you're not legal counsel. If we want to okay this license with conditions that the music be lowered, can we condition this right now? I mean, I don't know why we can't say you can only have music 4 nights a week, make it lower, and we'll grant the business license.
Well, because I think the devil's in the details. What does lower mean? Right now, he says he's got low volume.
Low enough that the neighbors aren't gonna complain.
Well, I don't know how we can
I
quantify that.
would like to invite any of you to my home on a Sunday, sit on my deck with me.
Come on up, because people can't, yeah, come on up, people can't see you. And we're trying to move towards your direction, so.
So what I said is I would like to invite all of you, any of you, and all of you, come to my home, 1810th Street, on a Sunday when the music starts, and you can see, listen to yourself. And see if you feel the way I feel and Kevin feel, and probably our neighbors. Neighbors being 10th, 12th, Sandy Way, 14th, 16th, Sunset Drive, wherever.
Nope, I understand.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, we have a motion and a
I have
second.
another question.
Yeah.
When does their current license expire?
It's expired.
It has expired.
What was the date that it expired, do you know?
I'm not sure. I don't have the old one in front of me.
Okay. Well, so they currently don't have a license, so I think it's in their best interest to come to us at the next meeting. Quite frankly, they should have been here for this one. So, I,
Motion to table to the next meeting.
okay, so,
Do you want to withdraw the first?
who made that motion?
That was Jeff and Dana.
And I seconded it.
Do you want to withdraw this motion and?
I mean, do we want to withdraw a motion so that they don't have a business license? I guess it's late now anyway. Or do we want to expressly condition this, whether the owner's here or not, to something we think is feasible?
I have a question. This license is for entertainment, show, amusement license application, is what it says right on the top. It doesn't, it's not addressing the restaurant itself, like being able to serve food to people.
No, it's the
That's a
entertainment
separate-
license.
yeah.
It's just the entertainment
Yeah.
license.
Yeah.
Catch.
Thank you, Jeff.
If that's true, good catch, yeah.
No, it's the
I mean-
truth.
I mean, that's what this says.
Good catch.
Yeah, it's just for, that's what's
It's
on the
just for
agenda.
the entertainment.
So
That's what
we're
they're
not,
discussing.
if we vote on it and we do not approve the entertainment portion, then the license can remain open.
Sounds good to me.
No, but they won't be able to play music.
Correct.
Make a
And,
motion.
and they can reapply for the entertainment show amusement license application.
Yep, make a motion, Dana.
Well, hold
All right,
on.
I'll make a motion to retract my motion, how's that?
Okay.
A motion to retract the tabling. Second draft.
Okay, wait a minute.
I just retracted the acceptance
retracted
and
his
she
approval.
seconded it, so now it's your motion.
But, so let's make a motion so we can discuss.
Okay,
Leslie made.
Motion to table, motion to
Didn't
not
you make one
accept.
to table?
Yes.
You rescinded it.
Oh, you
right?
already did it.
Yes, but I retracted to table it. And so basically what you're saying is this will have temporary condition and they can come back at another time and reapply for the entertainment license.
all we're doing if we don't approve it is we're shutting down the entertainment
Entertainment.
portion
Yep.
of the application. We're not shutting the business down.
No, but you understand that that means they cannot play any music.
Until they come and, yep.
Well,
From the radio-
like Bill said, if they were here to address it, that would be a different story.
Well, it also includes television, and it includes
They can't put the
games,
TVs on, they can't do anything.
so that there are different activities, so they wouldn't be able to do any of that either.
The TVs are inside.
All that's before you is the entertainment license. That's
Right.
all that's before the board right now.
Yep.
Yep.
So
So the license that they have right now would
if
only
their
be for
license is
food.
expired right now, they don't have a license. So I think we table it until 2 weeks, and we deal with it in 2 weeks. So I'll entertain a motion to table this. We can't give them a license that they don't have, so, I mean, they don't have one right now. They're not here to address this issue. I'll entertain a motion to table this.
I want to go back to the parking lot issue where how, at that point, if we table this, what's going to happen to the music from now until we revisit it?
Julie will contact them and let them know what occurred at the meeting this evening and advise them not to play any music until they can appear before the board.
Okay?
Yep.
I second the motion to table the application, the amusement license application.
I have a motion and a second. Julie, is that in order for you?
Yeah, we're gonna table until the June 27th from you, and Dana seconded.
Any further discussion? Any other questions? Leslie?
No.
Jeff? Bill?
No.
Dana?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So, next we have an update from the town administrator regarding the Upper Green Committee's report. Tracy, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, I had an opportunity to meet with the DPW director, and in conversations that I've had with the tree warden, who's here this evening and can correct me or add to my report, basically addressing each of the things that was identified by the committee a couple of years ago. There was pruning of dead branches and assessment of the tree health that was recommended. That was completed by the tree warden and the DPW. Stump removal and planting new trees, completed by the tree warden and the DPW. There is one more tree to be added on the Green Street side. I believe we have the tree currently, we're just waiting for it to be planted. Remove the 2 evergreen trees and replace with a single white spruce. That was completed recently. Apply gypsum, lime, organic fertilizer. That's done annually or as needed. The DPW consults with the tree warden and they make a determination. Correct the pond outlet drain, confirmed with the DPW that the drain is indeed working properly. Repair and paint the flagpole, that was done. Repair and repaint the backstop, that was completed as well. There was a suggestion to plant shrubs behind the baseball benches, but the DPW elected not to do that. They didn't want to do the maintenance that would go along with that, and identified that it would not provide a safety barrier, just having some shrubs there. So they elected not to do that. Clean up the walkway by the pond along High Road. That, along with the replacement of the benches, will be completed by the end of the season. Freshen the plantings around the monuments and memorials. The director reported to me that there's actually a resident that provides that service for the town. I believe it's a resident of the Green. I don't know the name of the person. Fix the sinkhole next to the catch basin. Massachusetts DPW did address that issue. Eliminate geese from the property. Yeah. We're all at a loss. If anyone has a suggestion that that might work, we'll certainly employ it. But as of today, we've tried different things and they've been unsuccessful. They are going to put the do not feed the geese signs up. Hopefully that'll help a little bit.
Coyotes up.
Yeah, we've had them out. I understand there's actually someone that has a dog that will come out.
Oh, yeah.
And it works for a while, and
then they come
then
right
they come back.
You gotta, the geese we have here are the geese that are resident geese. They're habituated, they're just used to everything. So there's not much you can do that's any different. They're used to it.
There was a recommendation to fix the spotlight for the pond. This will be completed this season when they install the new panel for the Christmas lights. When they do that, it'll be completed. They asked for a survey of the up green and utilization of DigSafe when they do anything. They always contact DigSafe before they do anything. But James wasn't sure why exactly we'd need to incur that expense of a survey. So that has not been done to date. If you want me to direct that it be done, we can do that, but.
Have to know what the purpose was anyways, of the survey, so.
I'm not sure. Flying flags on telephone poles, again, a resident addressed that request. Implement maintenance schedule, the DPW has already included the Upper Green maintenance in their annual schedule now. So I think the majority of the things have been addressed or will be addressed. But certainly if, residents notice issues there, they're welcome to contact the select board's office or the DPW, and we can make sure we get those taken care of.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for that update.
No problem.
Okay, and next we have an update from the tree warden regarding Newman Road. Hello, Tim. Do you mind coming up to the podium, please?
I can get out of the chair.
There you go. Thank you for coming out to us tonight.
My name's Tim Lamprey. I'm the tree warden for the town of Newbury. Where we stand now is we had to get the trees down, and then we had to find out what trees would be the best trees for the area. That's what takes some time, because you have to look at soil conditions, you have to look at light exposure, you have to look at trees that will take windy conditions. We need to look at, okay, what can we get for trees that will kind of hang over the edge of the road to bring it back to what it was before. And so we've come up with trees, and we just finished yesterday marking it for DigSafe, because I'm not 100% sure that there's nothing there, but since DigSafe costs us absolutely nothing to do, that's what we did. We had DigSafe, I called DigSafe yesterday. by the 15th, they will have somebody out there to check to make sure there's no unknown lines of whatever. I mean, the electricity would appear to stop way up the road, but let's not find out the wrong way that that's not where we're at. Same way on Green Street, we'd taken out a big tree. When we did the first go-around looking at the trees, there was one that, if you're up looking down inside the tree, it was all hollow. And it doesn't take much to tip those over. There was one in Boston, I think, early this morning, that fell over on top of a bunch of cars. And so we've come up with, it's called common hackberry. And it is a native. It's in the elm family. Grows 40 to 60 feet tall, about 40 feet wide. So if we push those back a little bit from the road, which that was part of the issue for the trees that had to come down. My understanding is that Newman Road used to be one lane unpaved, and at that point, with it being unpaved, it was easier for tree roots to get nutrients and water and everything else. Once the road was widened, in some spots, the actual tree itself was approximately 6 inches off the edge of the blacktop, and that's not conducive for a tree to grow. So 40 to 60 feet tall, 40 feet wide. The growth is considered medium to fast, which means you can expect a tree that's 20 to 30 feet tall in 10 to 15 years. It flowers in April to May, and then it produces an orangey red fruit that's eaten by birds and wildlife when the fruits ripen in September, October. But the most important thing is it grows in just about any kind of soil. And that was the big issue. Okay, what can we find that will grow in the soil conditions that are there? And it tolerates a moist soil, will grow in a dry soil, tolerates acid or alkaline conditions, it's wind tolerant. And then being in the elm family, it'll develop a canopy, not like the traditional elm that you see where everything droops down, but it will hang over the road a little bit at the height that it'll be at. And even though it's in the elm family, it doesn't get Dutch elm disease. So the trees, once we get by the dig safe, and we did the dig safe on Green Street where the tree's going in because of the electricity that runs out towards where the Christmas trees are, to make sure we're not going to run into that. It shouldn't be that deep of an area to have to dig down to put the tree in. So it's probably going to be next week. We just have to get it scheduled. We're using Bartlett Tree Service to do the planting because Bartlett's can also do watering. And that's the issue. If we plant trees on Newman Road down that end, there's no water there.
Yeah.
And we've tried different places getting volunteers to do it, but they will do the watering for the first season, call it, up until, I believe it's in October, to keep the trees hydrated so they can get a root system out into the soil, because that's going to be critical the first year. So that's where we're at on that. Like I said, there's another one that's going in on the Green Street side of the common, at the Upper Green. To address the issue of the survey on the Upper Green, the question is, what does the state own and what does the town own on that side that faces 1A? 1A is a state road, and that's always been a question. I'm sure there's maps out there somewhere that would show that, but it might be better for the town to know, because why plant trees if we find out that, oops, now that's a state tree? And the state has the authority on that section of road and on Route 1 to take down trees. Anybody who's recently gone up High Road is gonna look and see a lot of stumps on the side of the road, which Mass DOT cut those trees down. And in my opinion, most of them should come down, that they've taken down, and there's a few more further down. It's just a case of right-of-way. Where's the right-of-way if we're gonna plant stuff on the upper green on the High Road side? Where do we put the trees so that we're far enough back from state property to do what we need to do?
Great. Thank you, Tim. Tracy, you're taking your notes right on that one? Thank you. All right, any questions of the tree warden?
Madam
Dana?
Chair, what's the size of the new trees gonna be? What are they gonna start at?
These are,
On Newman Road I'm talking about.
yes. They are 2 to 2.5 inch caliper, which makes them
Right.
10 feet,
10,
maybe
10,
12 feet, yeah.
Tall.
Yeah.
Is there any, and this might sound crazy to some people, but is there any, like, warranty on them for that first 12 months that, you know, Bartlett is gonna guarantee? Like, for example, let's say we lose one in 8 months.
Yeah.
Can it be replaced free of charge?
No.
No.
No. I mean, the issue is, we ran into it, when was it? Oh, when we did the memorial tree for Peter Hollis on the lower green. The idea was that would be a good spot for it because he lived on Cottage Road, and that that spot would be allocated for it, and there was a need for it to be watered. The agreement was that family and friends would do the watering, because again, there's no water there to water. And the tree didn't make it because of the abnormal drought conditions that we had.
Was this last summer?
Yeah.
Yeah, last summer was brutal.
Yeah, and it came through that first winter, and then by about June, didn't have the rainy weather like we've got this year. And it just started to fail very quickly. So it usually takes about a year for the root system to get established in the soil for the trees. And once they get the root system in, and that's one of the reasons I tried to focus on finding something that would tolerate drier conditions, because we have no idea what the weather's gonna be. And, you know, unless, when we start planting trees, we go out and get essentially what they call a water truck. It contains X number of gallons, and you can go out and you can water the trees and take care of them that way. But the idea was, okay, we need to get by that first year of
Yeah,
getting
it's kinda critical.
water in, and if we don't, then it's gonna become an issue. So I believe they water all the trees on Newman, the one on the upper green, and the white spruce that was just planted. And they do that watering, it's bi-weekly, for $200 each time they do it. Well, that's a no-brainer to select that issue, to have it done that way, because at least you get that amount of water you need on them that first season, let's call it.
And just one more, on Newman Road, I know we talked about the wall there by Bushy's Field, and what, so they're gonna be on the road side of the wall, all of the new trees?
They would have to be, because...
They would have to be, yeah.
You'd have to get permission from...
Correct.
The trustees...
The trust.
In order to plant on the other side. And at that point, if the town is planting them, then they still become town trees.
Correct.
Which means we would have to then have permission to go on to the trustees and do any pruning, any upkeep on the trees. So
we have the space. You think we have the space between
I mean,
the
we've
wall
got
and
from, if you're familiar with it, as you're going down from High Road on the left-hand side, there's kind of an embankment that goes up, and the trees that were taken down started there. And from there up to, well, it's 125 feet. So the idea is if we plant the trees roughly 20 feet apart, then you're going to get the canopy back that was one of the, call it complaints that people had, that, you know, the canopy would disappear and it wouldn't look the same as it did before. So trying to come up with something based on, okay, this is what the trees need, what do the people want? And I think the fact that it bears fruit that the birds and the wildlife can use, the fact that it'll grow in wet soils, it'll grow in dry soils, it'll take the wind, and it will get to, call it a decent height, you know, within, let's say 10 years, then I think that's a win-win situation.
And how many are we gonna do?
There'll be 6 along there. It's a 125-foot stretch, so if we figure roughly 20 feet
You said
between
like
each
40
one.
feet, 40-foot canopy each.
Yeah, but that's under the best of circumstances, and that's gonna be, you know, call it 10 to 15 years. I think that's a pretty good way to go. So,
But you're gonna do the whole stretch, right? The whole 125 feet?
yeah, they'll be spaced evenly
Yeah.
along there. Once you get up to where the hill starts to crest and level off, that's where it's gonna be extremely difficult, because A, there's still some existing trees there that we just pruned back, and you don't wanna stick another one in there. I think at some point in time, some of the others will probably have to come down as well, but we'll just wait and see what they do after having been pruned back. What was it, in December, I think?
Yeah.
The trees would take, some of them were taken down and some of them were pruned back, so there's trees that way.
Thank you.
Tim, how much space is between those trees now, kind of?
The existing trees or the ones that we had cut down?
Just the existing, what's,
The existing ones, it's probably 20 feet between them.
okay, it's just one.
Might be 25, but
When these trees reach immaturity, would there be, you know, mechanical damage and wind, but probably,
I don't think so.
okay.
I think that was doing the research on it, you know.
Well,
if
if
you-
those trees, they were big, and if they seemed to be okay at 20 feet, that was why I asked, so they're fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the issue, and it's unfortunately the issue with so many of the trees in town, was trees were planted back before the roads were paved. And once you start paving the roads, then the root system that was out under the road, that part of the root system is not getting water because it's paved over. And in some cases, with the, like some of the ones that were further up, if they're 6 inches off the road on one side, and then the root system goes out to the stone wall, it's, yes, it could go beyond the stone wall, but probably not. And so now you're trying to support a big tree with half the root system that's there. And that's just, that's the issue. It's the issue in almost every city and town. I mean, pretty much any of the towns that are around that have the older trees, that's what they're running into.
That's all I have.
Leslie, do you have any questions?
I don't. It was a good presentation.
No. Jeff?
Nope, good.
Okay.
Bill, Bill,
Tim.
Tim, thank you so much for giving us that update.
Okay.
Okay, next we have fiscal year '24 appointments. So I think we have a list. Let's see.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do all of the business licenses for tonight?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was here, and I met with the clerk last week against Patrick Shea representing Wyatt Market. And I spoke with Gretchen last week, and she had told me as long as I got in whatever day it was, as long as I handed in my application, that we would be on this meeting.
Julie,
So I was
do you have any-
expecting to speak regarding why it's at 60 Fruit Street, why it's Market.
Right.
And I just kind of got the vibe that you guys had already gone through all the business license stuff, so I was trying to be patient, but I wanted to also voice up, and then once you mentioned 24, I just wanted to say something.
Yeah, my understanding from Gretchen and from talking to the Board of Health, too, there's inspections that need to be done from the fire and the building inspector, and also the Board of Health issues a permit, and those things hadn't been completed.
So we're the last step. So it needs to go through the Board of Health, the police, the
I
fire.
was told and understood that those things had happened by my partners, so.
You need to
I
follow up
spoke
with your
with
partner.
Gretchen, and I spoke with Ginger, and the last conversations I had, they hadn't had the inspections to the last of my
Can we post our
conversations.
agendas on Thursday?
Okay.
Or yeah, it has to be.
Right,
Yes.
yes.
So if it's not on us before noon, completed to go before noon on Tuesday, I believe.
All right.
It has to
It was
wait.
nice sitting here.
Sorry
I don't mean
about that.
sarcastically towards you, I just
Thank you.
wish I'd voiced that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. David?
Can I respond to the tree warden's report?
No, because he's gone. No, because he left. Is he still here, Tim? No, he left. Did you just have a question?
Yes.
Oh, here he is. Tim, Mr. Pavel has a question for you. Do you want to take it outside, or? Yeah, come on up here.
I didn't, excuse me, I need a list here. I didn't hear the name of the tree that he was proposing to plant on Newman Road. He said a member of the elm family, and
The common hackberry tree?
Ah, okay. Okay, David Powell, for the record, 5 Kent Way. I guess my feeling is this is not the place to have this discussion, and let me explain why. That I was involved in bringing this issue of the Newman Road trees to the board, which put a stop on what was going on. And I did that because I felt we needed to review what was happening. That all took place and the decision was made to go ahead. My conclusion now is that we have finished up with something that's worse than we started with. What we now have out there is what looks like the mouth of an old prize fighter, you know, has a couple of teeth sort of left and not much else besides. And if you wanted to look past this to the members of the board, that's a photograph taken today of Newman Road. And we now have a situation where we have these 3 old trees that are left. And they are going to dwarf anything that you put out there, as the tree warden described, in terms of what tree he's proposing. So even if any of us are here to see it in 20, 30 years, what's going to happen is you're going to have a non-row of trees. In other words, you're going to have 5 or 6 trees, and then probably by then those 3, thank you, old ones will have gone. So I would suggest that actually what we really should do is to take down the 3 that got left and treat that as a single piece running from the gate all the way down to the point at which it interfaces with the woods which are above the parking lot. And so because of that, and because of the fact that the trustees who were also involved in this and have remained willing to be involved in any way they can be helpful, And I cannot represent them officially, but I can tell you, having been the trustee volunteer there for over 30 years, they're willing to do anything they can to help. And one of the suggestions they have made is a list of possible trees to be planted there, which would blend with the rest of essentially what is there in terms of other trees.
So I believe, Tim, you met with the trustees, Peter, didn't you?
Yes.
So he has had input on this.
Who did you meet with?
Peter Pincero.
Peter Pincero.
Pinciero.
Peter Pinciera.
Is that who you met with?
Recently?
Not recently, no.
No, so he hasn't met with Peter Pinciero since we had a discussion prior to the taking down of the trees.
No. He met with Peter. Didn't you meet with Peter and discuss with the former select board member, J.R. Colby, when you made your, yeah.
JR was in contact with him. Peter came up with some trees. We looked at it and said, okay, are these gonna work in this situation?
Mhm.
And we went through, looked at a bunch of different trees, and came up with that this is what I, as the tree warden, felt would be the best trees for that location.
Yeah.
I mean, it isn't trustees of the reservation land.
Right.
It is the town of Newbury's place to pick the trees that go in there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm not disputing that. I just have talked to the trustees, and they were unaware that this decision had been made. So that may have been because JR was in contact and he's no longer, but as far as I understood it, they didn't know anything about this, and certainly the list I have here doesn't include the
No, I
tree.
mean, as far as native trees go, there's all kinds of native trees. And so you want to make sure that you've got trees that will grow in that area. And that's what we are
Right.
attempting to do. Is to
Okay.
plant trees that will hopefully outlive all of us.
Okay, all right.
All right.
So,
Thank
So-
you.
I think it's, how should we say, a decision made without consultation. The only other thing I would have to say while I'm here is that when the DPW went out and stumped the trees, they managed to, I can't say damage, but blow down is the best way I can describe it, two very elderly, very fragile wooden gates that,
Yeah.
okay, and I'm hoping that at the very least they can remove the wreckage.
I think that the DPW has been aware of that.
It's, the gates are not, we took care of that. We've been in touch with, Peter.
Trustees.
Peter, yes.
Yeah, the trustees. It's being resolved.
So that's being resolved.
Okay, great,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. And if you have any questions of the tree warden, you can always follow up with him. Okay, so we have select board appointments. I'm going to take these committee by committee. So first, we have Border to Boston, the Trail Committee. These are one-year terms, commencing July 1, 2023, and finishing on June 30th, 2023. We have Martha Taylor, Kristen Grubbs, Steve Fram, Cynthia Rashke, and Ted Russell. I'll entertain a motion to accept.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Second. Any discussion?
Can we vote on them individually?
We're gonna go in by, do you want to do person by person?
Yeah.
Sure, I guess.
And,
Okay.
well, and my other question is this committee's not on the town website? Because I was trying to find it on the town website. Is there a reason why it's not on?
I don't think it was an active committee, was it previously? And they're just gonna get active now for,
It has been the past year, had been reappointed, it wasn't for a year before that.
okay, so I'm a year late. Well, if it's not on the committee, if it's not on the website, we'll have them make sure that it gets added.
This is an old committee, right, Martha?
It's been been in place for quite some time.
Yeah, because I was on it years ago.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's my understanding the purpose of the committee is to go after grant monies, right?
Well, we're working on the border to Boston Trail. and going
Trails.
From Danvers up to Salisbury and beyond, and
Yeah.
focusing on our portion of it.
The Newbury portion of the border to Boston.
When do we start on that committee? That has to be 10, 12, longer?
It was probably 2009.
Yeah, okay.
So you want to go through each one of these and vote them? Is the board okay with that, person by person, or do you want to take them by
You're
committee?
gonna do
What's-
that the whole night?
Well, what's the feel of the board? You want to go through, vote a committee, and then if you want to discuss the members, we can just put a hold on it, and we can go back and discuss that one committee? Is that?
No. It's a long list.
It is a long list.
Committee, by committee, unless there's.
How do you want to do it, Dana?
Problem with something.
I just, there's just one person that I would vote no on.
On the border to Boston?
Right, but, you
Well,
know.
then let's go through them. I'll entertain a motion to approve Martha Taylor to the Border to Boston Trail Committee.
So motioned.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Kristen Grubbs, I'll entertain a motion to approve Kristen Grubbs to the Border to Boston Trail Committee. For
So
1 year.
motioned.
1 year term. These are all 1 year terms.
Second.
Any discussion? Aye. Okay, Steve Fram, I'll entertain a motion to appoint Steve Fram to the Border to Boston Trail Committee for 1 year. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I have a discussion on Steve.
Discussion.
The discussion is he in a butter to the actual border to Boston?
I believe he's down in that area in River Street, I think.
I mean, I'm not sure about that, and I'm just wondering if that would be a conflict of interest, if he is in a butter?
Martha, can you speak to that? Do you think, I don't think conflict of
I'm
interest.
just throwing that out there. It's-
No, it's a good question, but I don't think conflicts of interest is usually, you know.
Well, I don't even know if
value
that's the right term,
monetarily.
but I'm just wondering if some of the decisions, he may have a biased opinion
Well, he's
because,
only one vote on the committee.
okay. I just was throwing that out there.
Can he recuse himself if it passes near his property? If there are any decisions on other property?
And it's basically, it's a whole length of trail, so it's a little, probably a little hard to do that.
Yeah.
I think. He's been
Has this
involved.
issue ever come up before at one of our?
I think Steve's been involved in it from day one, right?
Yeah, he,
Yeah, so it's hard.
Yeah, all I could say to that is that last year, I didn't pay much attention to this, and I paid more attention this year, so that's why I brought it up.
I have a question.
yes.
Since Steve is an elected person here in town, can he be appointed to this commission?
There's nothing in the bylaws that talk about Board of Health not being in any other positions.
Okay.
I have that in my report for later on.
It's only certain things.
Yep.
Okay. Are there any further discussion? So all in favor of Steve Fram to be on the Border to Boston Trail Committee, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, Cynthia Rashke, I apologize if I hacked that last name. All in favor of Cynthia? Or can I have a motion to appoint Cynthia to the Border to
Motion to
Boston?
appoint.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ted Russell,
Motion to appoint.
is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna vote no.
No.
You're gonna vote
On
no on
Ted.
Ted?
Yeah.
Okay, we have Capital Planning Committee, a 2-year term, 7/1/23 to 6/30/2025. We have one member, Nicholas Orm.
Motion to appoint.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Okay.
Any opposed?
I vote in favor. I have a question, though. That's a reappointment, correct?
Yep.
I notice, on the board, Stewart is going to expire June of '23. and he did not reapply.
Does not want to be reappointed.
So is that gonna leave an open seat?
Yes, it will.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
I just, in the future, I kind of would hope that we would be informed of if there's any open seats remaining, how many there are.
We're going to cover that after these appointments.
Okay.
After we appoint, we'll see who's going to be open.
We have a list.
So, the Conservation Commission, there's a 3-year term.
Did we vote on Nicholas?
Yes. We did.
We did, okay.
For
Thanks.
the Conservation Commission, there's a 3-year term from July 1, 2023 to 6/30/2026. Do you want to take these separately, or can we take them together?
We can take them together. I
Okay.
just have a couple of questions.
Okay, so Woody Knight is the planning board member that the planning board has asked us to appoint to the Conservation Commission. And Michael Brown is a new appointment. He's going to be filling, I believe, Dan Streeter's role. I believe his information was in your packet. Is there a second?
Motion to appoint.
And is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
So Woody's replacing Peter Pecos, is that correct?
Yeah.
And he's not interested in being?
The planning board votes.
Oh,
who they're-
yeah, that's right. I read what Martha put out about.
Yeah, the planning board made a recommendation.
They make a
That was-
recommendation.
right.
And that this is who they want on the Conservation Commission, who they recommend to us. We are the appointing authority.
And on the Conservation Commission, right now, there's 4 seats that all expire at the same time. The Newbury bylaws, are we supposed to spread those out, like 3-year terms, 2-year terms, so that we don't reappoint 4 people all at the same time for the rest of our lives?
It depends on how they were appointed. So if somebody comes off mid-year, sometimes in the past, this goes back to what, 1973, that we've got this bylaw. We've kind of inherited this I guess.
Method.
Yeah, method of doing it. I don't believe there's anything in the bylaw that says, let me see, Conservation Commission, that says you can't do it that way. Let me look. Okay, so the town of Newbury hereby accepts provisions of general laws. Chapter 40, Section 8C, as amended, establishes the Conservation Commission of the town of Newbury for the purpose of the rights and duties provided. The member shall be appointed by the selectmen, should have a diversity of skills, backgrounds, interests, be
You know what, though,
conservation-minded.
we can answer that question at another time, otherwise we're gonna be here all night, right, Dane?
Yeah,
Sure.
appointments to
Yeah,
be for
yeah.
terms of 3 years.
Yeah, let's
So-
make the rest of the appointments.
It's appointments to be the terms for 3 years, so this is a 3-year term. Okay, all in favor?
Point of order.
All right, 1 second, Jack. All in favor? Aye,
Aye.
I'll get you at the end. Council on Aging, we have various different terms here, 1, 2, and 3-year terms. So Damon Jesperson is a 3-year term, Susan Grillo is a 3-year term, Chuck Bear is a 2-year term, Christina Howe is a 3-year term, Geraldine DeMayo is a 1-year term, and Janine Cunningham is a 2-year term. I think we need to take these separately. So I'll take Damon Jesperson first. He's a 3-year term.
I have a question. Are all these seats available?
Mhm.
Okay. So there's not anybody on this list that will not get a seat?
Right, these are our appointments.
Gotcha.
Unless,
Okay,
unless they don't get a vote.
correct.
So Damon Jesperson for a 3-year term. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Susan Grillo is a 3-year term.
Motion to accept.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Chuck Bear is a 2-year term.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Christina Howe is a 3-year term.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. DeMayo, did you want to recuse yourself from this one? I think that's unlocked. Thank you. I have Geraldine DeMayo here for a 1-year term.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And, come on back, Bill. Janine Cunningham,
Motion to accept.
we have her for a 2-year term.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so Cultural Council, Janine Anderson through, she only requests to be, her appointment to last through January 31st of 2024.
Motion to accept.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
I I have a couple of questions on that one. There's two members that are gonna expire June of this
Are
year.
you talking about the Cultural Council?
Cultural Council. Are those seats gonna just be open seats?
Until somebody makes a request?
Until we get somebody?
Yeah. We
Okay.
can't just appoint people because they won't show up.
No, I
I'd like to-
understand that,
I'd
I'm
like
just
the-
wondering what
The
would.
idea of the draft, but that's not good.
Yeah, no, I get it. I
Yeah,
just am
so-
asking the question, that's all.
So we're gonna go through at the end, we'll go through all the open appointments.
Okay,
And we'll
great.
make a cry out for help.
Thank you.
So, the select board does appoint our executive administrator, which is Julie, for a one-year term, and her appointment is gonna be from July 1, 2023 to June 30th, 2024.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Finance Committee for a three-year term, July 1, 2023 to 6/30/2026, Erica Jacobson.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Historical Commission, three-year term, July 1, 2023 to 6/30/2026, Channing Howard.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Human Resource Board, three-year term, 7/1/2023 to 6/30/2026, Mark Gleckman.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm voting no,
You're voting no.
yes.
Local Historical Study Committee, one-year term, 7/1/2023 to 6/30/2024. I have Robin Etheridge. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to accept.
Second.
These are all one-year terms. All in favor?
Aye.
Again, for Long Hackmeister.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Elizabeth Baglia.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Joy Machad.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Madison Vlass.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have Merrimack Valley Planning. This is a one-year term from July 1 to 6/30/2024. Martha Taylor for the commissioner.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then we have Lawrence Murphy as the alternate commissioner. He's the chair of the planning board.
Motion to accept.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we have the municipal
Nobody seconded.
vulnerability.
One seconded that
I'll
one.
second that.
Oh, nobody seconded?
No.
All right, you seconded it?
Yeah.
Going too fast. Okay.
It's okay.
Thank you. So now we have the Municipal Vulnerability Task Force. This is a one-year term from July 1, 2023 to 6/30/2024. Does anybody want to take these, can we take these together? I'll read them all and we'll take one vote, or do you want to do them separately?
I'm okay with one vote.
Leslie?
One vote.
One vote.
Dana?
One vote.
Okay. This is the Municipal Vulnerability Task Force. It's a one-year term, July 1, 2023 to 6/30/2024. We have Tracy Blaze, Douglas Janvrin Jr., Patty Fisher, Peter Burnett, John O'Connell, Samantha Holt, Deborah Rogers, James Surratt, Martha Taylor, and Kristen Grubbs.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Can I have discussion?
Yes, discussion.
Kristen I didn't see a request from her in the paperwork.
She's staff, so
Oh,
she's,
Okay,
these are all staff members.
I just wanted
Also for
to
John.
ask.
So
and-
they're voluntold.
Jeff, you used to be on that board, I believe,
About that
I
later
did.
in my
Yeah.
report.
and you don't want to do that anymore?
Well, that's coming.
Okay, that's
Right
coming.
now, before us, we have these people,
Yep,
okay?
Yep.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Okay, we have the planning board member. It's a one-year term, 6/13/2023 to 5/14/2024, which is election day because she'll have to run for her seat, and it's
Motion to-
Mary Stone.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Recreation Committee, this is a one-year term, July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. I'll take these again as a whole unless somebody has something. Okay, we have Mark Sant, David Broll, Mary Anastasio, Courtney Boudreau, Cindy Courier is the Council on Aging rep, and Ben Norton is our Triton High School rep.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have the Special Municipal Employee Consultant to the town. This is a one-year term from July 1 to 6/30. Timothy Meehan and Thomas Hughes.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Can I have a discussion?
Yeah.
Tim Meehan, is that a paid,
These are consultants, so if there's any, Tom
do they
Hughes,
get paid as a consultant?
professional
They
service.
do, okay. And then Thomas Hughes with the new conservation intermunicipal agreement. I'm just curious how Thomas, I see that he's a Conservation Commission consultant. How is he gonna fit in with the new intermunicipal agreement?
The intermunicipal agreement has to do with the agent, our conservation agent.
Right.
It doesn't have anything to do with this special municipal consultant. The agreement is for the labor of the,
Right, well, the other town that we're sharing,
Merrimack.
Merrimack, would he also be a consultant on the Merrimack side, or just?
I don't know
That's
that.
entirely
So
up
we,
to
we,
Merrimack.
that's entirely up
Up
to,
to Merrimack, too.
yeah,
It's up to Merrimack,
okay, yeah, thank you.
okay? Stormwater Management Team.
We need to vote on it.
We did
You
vote.
did.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Stormwater Management Team, we have a 3-year term, July 1, 2023 to 6/30/2026. This is I'm gonna take these together too. Deb Rogers, James Surratt, John O'Connell, Martha Taylor, Tracy Blaze, Julie O'Brien, and Samantha Holt.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Zoning Board of Appeals, there's a 3-year term, July 1, 2023 to 6/30/2026 for Jack Kelly.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
We have an associate member, which is a 1-year term, from July 1, 2023 to 6/30/2024. That's Michelle Wheeler.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have Police Department. We appoint the Police Department. This is a 1-year term, July 1, 2023 to 6/30/2024. Theodore Dillon is a reserve officer. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Martha Leahy as the administrative assistant and as a police department chaplain.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Roger Murray is a special police officer.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jay Routhier,
Ruthier.
special police officer.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And James Malonis is a reserve officer.
Motion to accept.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So,
Madam Chair.
yeah,
Just so for clarification, the first step in the appointment process, the executive administrator puts out a notice to all the existing board and committee members to ask them if they want to seek reappointment. Once she knows that, then she puts together a list of all of the open seats, and then we usually do some type of an advertisement, both here at the select board meeting and on the website as well.
any questions of that process? Okay. So, Julie, did you have a list of the open seats?
You do.
Thank you.
Better.
Thank you. Okay, so currently, there are open seats that we are requesting. Sorry about that. Okay. That we are requesting opportunities for volunteers, town volunteers to step up and serve their community. I find it a very self-fulfilling to give back to the community. And I'm hoping my colleagues on the board and other board and committee members feel the same way. It is it's very, I find great fulfillment from giving back to the community. I have for years. So currently, there's an open position for a Veterans Grave Officer. This is going to fulfill the remaining term of Selectman Mr. DeMayo's term. He is now on the Select Board, and as part of the Select Board, he can no longer hold the position of Veterans Grave Officer. You do need to be a veteran, I believe, to serve, to become a Veterans Grave Officer.
Yep.
So the town is seeking for a resident to do that. Bill, do you want to give a little explanation of what the Veterans Grave Officer does?
It's mostly to make sure that veterans' graves are maintained to the standards of the cemetery, to make sure that we change out flags on a special occasion, and in case people need a plaque, a military plaque for the grave site, or a flag holder, the Veterans Grave Officer is equipped to order those from the VA.
Great. That doesn't sound like too heavy of a
There's
lift.
no pick and shovel involved.
Okay, we also have an opening on the Human Resource Board. This is for one non-employee. It's a one opening for a non-employee. Tracy, do you want to give a little explanation of what the Human Resource Board does?
Yeah, they're very involved in many aspects of our operation. We go to them for advice on sensitive matters. They do our classification schedule for our wages. They've been called upon in the past to help in some hiring processes. I think that's pretty much, Chief, you're on that. Did I miss anything?
No, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
They help,
thank you.
they also review all the job description revisions that may happen from time to time, the reclassifications, reorganizations, regional proposals, things of that nature.
Okay, thank you. We have 2 member openings and 3 alternate openings for the Agricultural Commission. Now, the Agricultural Commission is kind of unique. It's part of our bylaws. They don't need to meet unless there's a reason for them to meet. So the commission serves as a facilitator and advocate for encouraging the pursuit of farming and agriculture in Newbury, and to promote agricultural-based economic opportunities in the town, which shall work with town officials and boards to promote and protect agricultural interests. So if there's like an issue with, I don't know, a crowing rooster, or a smell of manure, or stuff like that, I think the Agricultural Commission comes together and discusses it and figures out a solution. So there's 2 member openings and 3 alternate openings on that commission. We also have an opening on the Capital Planning Committee. Tracy, do you want to speak to that one, or let me just see if I can read that? It's kind of long. You want to go?
It's the citizen position. We have 2 citizen positions, and one of them has expressed that he's not interested in being reappointed, so we have 1 opening right now.
So the Capital Planning Committee, I don't think it is the duty of the Capital Planning Committee to develop a long-range capital planning program to serve as a guideline for capital improvements in the town with an eye towards ensuring the maintenance of its public infrastructure and planning for new capital improvements. So anybody interested in serving on the Capital Planning Committee, you could email the town of Newbury. The Council on Aging, there is 1 opening available right now. We just made our appointments, and there's still availability for 1 because the council shall consist of up to 9 members. The Cultural Council, after January 24th, there will be 5 active members. Now, the Newbury Cultural Council is another important council that is dictated to us through Massachusetts general laws. There are currently 17 openings on the Newbury Cultural Council. So anyone interested in serving on the Cultural Council, please email the town of Newbury. I think they meet mostly to issue grants. They have a grant awareness grants that they give. Open Space Committee. This is, there's 3 active members right now. There is no member limit set. There are openings on this committee, and I'm gonna ask Martha if she could speak a little bit to the Open Space Committee, because I believe that committee's gonna get reactivated fairly soon.
Yes, that's the hope.
Yeah, can you speak a little bit to that? Thank you.
Sure. So the Open Space Committee, one of the things that we're hoping will start up very quickly actually is an update of our open space and recreation plan, which is out of date. And if it's updated, then that'll make us eligible for certain grant funds, that kind of thing that we're not eligible for otherwise. It's also a committee that can weigh in if there are properties coming out of 61A that come before, will be coming before the select board for determination on whether to waive the right of first refusal or not. And generally looking at open space and resources in terms of parcels that might be preferably preserved in the future, and that kind of thing. So,
thank you.
Welcome.
Well, that's the Open Space Committee.
How many seats do we?
There's no member
There's
limit
no
set.
limit, there's no
Nope.
limit.
As many
And we're gonna
volunteers as we
reactivate
want.
that, it's not.
Well, I think we've always had a couple, but they haven't met.
Okay.
Is the open space plan every 5 years?
Technically, yes.
Yep.
So the Recreation Committee, there are 2 member openings on that. They pretty much oversee the recreational activities around the town of Newbury. They have, let me see if they have. The charge of the committee, the charge of the Newbury Recreation Committee is to provide the residents of Newbury with a wide range of recreational opportunities. In addition, the Recreational Committee, in conjunction with the town administrator and other committees, will identify opportunities to develop new areas for recreation and bring proposals before the select board. So that's the Recreation Committee. Conservation Committee has no openings.
So
The
there's
board-
one opening for the Recreation Committee?
2.
Two, thank you.
2 member openings. The Border to Boston Trail will have 5 members after June 13th. There's no member limit set again here, so anybody that's interested in serving on the Borders to Boston, I believe we spoke about that earlier. They deal with the rail trail, the trail from Boston, or Salem, did you say, Martha, or Lynn?
From
Danvers up to the New Hampshire border. We have an opening for an associate member of the planning board. There's 1 opening for that. So if you're interested in sitting on the planning board, the select board will appoint the alternate member or the associate member.
I just gotta, Alicia, I gotta provide some levity because of the history, and especially that Martha and I have. I made Martha a bet years ago that the Borders to Boston could never afford to buy a bridge. I guess I
bought
lost
one.
that bet, huh?
They bought one, I believe they bought one
Salisbury,
recently.
they're all over the place, so.
Okay, and now I believe we have the town administrator's report.
Thank you.
Hey, I'd like to recognize Jack. He had a.
After the meeting.
After the meeting.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. So a couple of things I wanted to bring to your attention. The Mass Audubon has reported that there are currently 7 piping plover pairs and 4 active nests, as well as a least tern colony on our Newbury Beach. They continue to report to us weekly issues relative to unleashed dogs running through the fenced areas. So just as a reminder, dogs are only allowed on the town-owned beach before 8:30 a.m. and after 5:30 p.m. And that rule is in place from May 15th to September 15th. Audubon, Mass Fish and Wildlife, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, all recommend that Newbury consider amending their bylaw. It's Chapter 109, Section 2, to restrict dogs on the beach to coincide with plover nesting season, which begins April 1st. So that we would amend it from what it currently is May 15th and make it April 1st. again, with the same 8:30 to 5:30, before 8:30 and after 5:30. Ideally, they'd prefer that we, to see a complete dog prohibition on the Newbury public beach, beginning on April 1st, but I wasn't sure that that was something the board would consider, so I just thought I'd bring that. I told them I would bring it to your attention based on our meetings. Fire Chief Doug Janvern has notified us of his intention to retire effective August 8th. You probably are aware of it, seen it in the paper. He has served the department for 36 years, and I know I speak for a lot of the staff when I say he will be very, very missed. So the board will need to think about how we move forward in making a replacement.
So can I pause there for a minute? I have a
Sure.
clarifying question.
Sure.
Does the fire department have a succession plan similar to what the police department had?
They do not.
Okay. Okay, so I think he's retiring as of August 8th.
Yes.
Do we have, can you think of any options that the board will have to move, how do we move forward to replace the chief?
Well, deputy chief will be in charge, will he? Is that how that would go in the military ranks of the fire department?
If you wish to put him in charge.
Just for the time being? I mean, how does that go?
Well, we have him till August 8th, right?
Yeah.
Chief Janvern's here until August 8th. You can, I mean, we have a personal bylaw that kind of sets forth how you follow a process, but you can make a determination as to whether you want to do the hiring directly from beginning to end, or do you want to engage an executive search to, I mean, you can set the parameters, but what's frequently done is they'd provide the preliminary interviews and then provide you with 3 qualified candidates, and then you would interview them at that point and hire, or you can do it yourselves from the very beginning. It's entirely up to the board how they
So-
want to do it. You don't have a lot of time.
No, I know, that's why I paused you for a minute.
Yeah.
So the personnel bylaw, Julie, can I ask you to please pull that up and email it to the select board? So they can all read it? And then I think I'm going to add this to our next agenda as an agenda item to discuss how we want to move forward for our June 27th meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, in actuality, it would be deciding to hire if there was eligible candidates from within or going to an outside hiring.
Well, I think we need to read the bylaw first. So let's
Is the
start with that.
bylaw gonna state that?
No, the bylaw just basically sets forth, you have to advertise in-house for how long, and just a process. And then it would be up to you to, there's nothing, if you hire an outside search company, that doesn't mean internal candidates can't apply.
Yeah.
Anyone can apply.
Yeah.
They just do the preliminary screening and make sure everyone has the qualifications that are
Yep.
required.
To present to us?
Yep.
All right, well, we'll add that to our next agenda and we'll deliberate then and figure out a path forward.
But is that kind of, because the bylaw won't say it, is that kind of clear to everyone? That would be the difference, and we can discuss it next time.
Do you think it's important that this, well, I think we should read the bylaw anyways. We'll just read it. Okay.
Our IT director, Matthew Cooper, has provided me with his resignation effective June 30th. His former employer approached him with an offer that was something he just couldn't pass up, so we'll be starting a search for that position as well. He will be here only till the end of June. So there will likely be some hiccups. I think we can expect them. We're gonna do everything we can to try and make a smooth transition, but again, 2 weeks is not a lot of time to advertise and find someone to fill those shoes, so.
Okay,
We just ask for everybody's patience.
thank you.
I've nominated Kayla Preventure, the current Newburyport Animal Control Officer, as our backup inspector of animals. And also wanted to report to you that I have been notified of an issue with the Finance Committee bylaw. It was brought to my attention a few weeks ago. Specifically, there was an appointed member who was also elected to another town position. The bylaw very specifically states that no member of the Finance Committee shall be an elected official, a paid board or committee member, or an employee of the town. In further reviewing the bylaws, it indicates that we might also have some other issues as well, specifically with the Select Board, because their law states that a member of the Select Board, Regional School Committee, or of the Finance Committee, during the term for which the member was elected or appointed, shall be ineligible either by election or appointment to hold any other town office. So if members of these boards and committees are restricted from serving on any other boards or committees, then we'll have a number of problems in the Select Board, members serving on the DCC, the Veterans District, the MRBA, the Municipal Vulnerabilities Task Force, the Recreation Committee, et cetera, et cetera. It is extremely typical for Select Board members for members of the Select Board to represent the board on other outside committees, but we do have this prohibition in our bylaws. So, same thing, it would prohibit the FinCom from serving on the Capital Planning Committee, and we have a Capital Planning Committee bylaw that says 2 members of the FinCom will serve on that. So we have conflicting bylaws in some cases. I don't know the history. I don't know if, one should have been repealed at some point in time and it never happened, or how it got this way, but upon being notified, I reached out to council and provided all the necessary documents, and at this point in time, I'm waiting for a legal opinion, but we may need to consider revising our bylaws in the future, so it's something you might want to start thinking about how best to handle that once you have the legal opinion in front of you. So more to come.
That's why we haven't appointed anybody from the Select Board to anything tonight. Dana, this is going to affect your appointment to the veterans. But see, it doesn't make sense to me because you sit on the veterans with other Select Board members, correct?
Correct.
I'll give you a real good, is Jerry and I used to sit on the VCC, and if we didn't sit as selectmen, we'd be the only town without selectmen sitting on that board, so,
Right.
wow.
Right.
That's kind of out there.
Yeah. So I think, so what happens is, what's happened in the past is the town has passed new bylaws, and rather than go back and see if these bylaws conflicted with anything previous, they just superseded it, and now they conflict. It goes back to hundreds of years.
And that's what town council will be reviewing is, okay, does this bylaw rule, does the newest, take the lead, if you will, is
Right.
that the overriding authority or not? What can we do? What can't we do? Is there a difference between appointed and elected? Should they be repealed? Should they stand? So those are the conversations that, once her opinion is here, if she's going to be attending that next meeting relative to the licenses, it probably makes sense to have her available to discuss
So that would be
this.
just somebody who would be sitting and not like a liaison.
It doesn't say that. That's, it popped into my mind as well. Yeah, it doesn't say vote, it doesn't make a reference to voting or non-voting.
Okay.
So, okay, anything else, Tracy?
No, I think that's it.
That's enough. Correspondence, we have Essex County Sheriff's Department Annual Report of 2022. I think, Julie, you said this is on their website?
Yeah, I can get a link. If somebody wants to see the report, it's very large, so I can get them the link.
300 pages long.
It's not quite, but it's 100 and something, yeah, it's a big
Yeah,
report.
so it's very long, and anybody interested in seeing it, I don't recommend we print it out, but I think you can get a link.
Yes, I
and
can
see it
supply the
electronically.
link.
So just anybody in the audience or on TV land, if you want it, just email Julie, and she'll send you the link. Meeting updates. Do we have any meeting updates?
The Essex veteran, Karen, did ask me about the grave officer, and we now discovered tonight that is still an open position. So I will just relay that back to her, make sure she
Okay.
is aware of that.
Okay. I would do it before the end of the year. Your appointment expires at the
I'll
end
do
of the
it
year.
tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. And Bill, do you have any meeting updates?
I do. Last Friday, June 9th, I was at Devon's at the Massachusetts Select Board Association newly elected Select Board training session. There were 105 newly elected Select Board people there that had training. It was open meeting, public laws, municipal finance, budgeting, tips to get started from some of the professional Select Board people who had experience, sources of state and federal funding, and collaborative decision-making. It was really, really worthwhile. Good opportunity to do networking with other Select Board people as well.
I attended with someone you and I attended last year. I thought it was very good. Did you like it too?
I liked it.
Yeah. Did you ever have an opportunity to go?
I didn't
to that?
have the opportunity.
Yeah, well, you should go on their website, and if they have other stuff, I find them extremely useful. They're very good. I sit on
Is that last Friday?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually an appointed member at one of their committees, the Fiscal Policy Committee, and they lobby for us, the cities and towns. We have so small, any bigger voice we can get, the better. Jeff, do you have any meeting updates?
No, I don't.
Okay. Review and approve meeting minutes. So we have the draft minutes of May 23rd, 2023. I'll entertain a motion to sign minutes. Or to approve the minutes, rather, I'm sorry.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And we have warrants. I'll entertain a motion to sign warrants.
Motion to sign warrants.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There's no executive session. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam Chair.
Yes?
Right. I just wanted to clarify one point. I received confirmation. Mr. Powell said that the DPW knocked down those fences. That is not accurate. Our DPW had nothing to do with those fences coming down. They were rotten.
Okay.
And we had talked about fixing them or removing them, and then we were notified that it's not our property. So trustees have been made aware of it, and they're going to address it.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Can we get Jack on the record?
He's
before-
not on my agenda. I'll
Okay.
discuss it with him
Okay.
afterwards.
All
Okay?
right.
So I'll entertain a motion
Motion
to
to
adjourn.
adjourn.
All in
Second.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.